Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Chronic Health Collective. This isn't just a community, it's your fresh start. We've gathered the best coaches and experts to help you reclaim your energy, heal from the inside out, and live with purpose. Whether you're longing for more energy, deeper healing, or you're in your relationship, or a life that feels more aligned and fulfilling, you're not alone anymore. Let's rise together. And so today we have a Soulful Summer Panel with the Chronic Health Collective. And it's including Christy Boyd Johnson, founder of the Barefoot Learning Club. Welcome, Christy.
Thank you, Candace.
Hi. Yeah, it's going to be fun. As well as we have Sandra Olzowski here, Executive Development and Leadership Coach. Hi, Sandra.
Hey, Candace, how are you?
I'm awesome. This is going to be really fun. And myself, Candace McKim, I'm an intuitive manifestation coach, author, and TEDx speaker. So today our conversation is on freedom and independence. And I'm feeling it's like the power of slowing down. And it's a topic that's really I've been feeling into a lot lately, because more than ever, I believe so many of us are craving a deeper kind of freedom, not just financial freedom or even time freedom, but to actually feel freedom to follow our intuition, to rest when we need to, and to build businesses that are deeply nourishing, not just busy and time putting in. And I believe when we are truly aligned with our soul's purpose, freedom becomes just a natural byproduct of it. That's when the clients come and the clarity comes and the income comes. But more importantly, we really feel spacious and supported and just really free. So I'm going to open the conversation up, and I want to start with a question that goes right to the heart of it all. So, and I don't know, I guess I should pick who's going to answer first. So I'm going to send this to Sandra first. What does living a soul-aligned, freedom-filled life mean to you right now?
Absolutely. That's a super question. And it's really just being able to be able to make whatever choices you want and not having too many influences take you away from what you're wanting to be doing. So it's just really to be able to map your journey and follow it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. What's your response, Christy?
That is such a good question, because I totally agree that is, I see people making that shift everywhere. And for me, it's that whatever I'm doing, whether it's personal with my family or friends or in my work, I am just not willing to waste time on things that are superficial or boring. If I'm in a room full of people who are chattering about the weather and the latest gossip on Facebook, I can't even take it. I just have to leave. I can't stand it. I love deep conversation. I'd rather be alone than be in a room full of people that are chattering about nothing.
I actually saw a meme on that just this week, and it was the person leaving, and it was like they're storming out of the room, and it said, "Me when the conversation is about the weather and what other people are doing," and I that's funny that I just saw that. I think today or yesterday. Cool.
I psychically sent that to you. No,
yeah, you did. Yeah, for me, it's that feeling of waking up in the morning and feeling excited and, not always jumping out of bed, but just really feeling excited about what my day's bringing. Because I've been in that burnout place, right, before, where, the Sunday night blues kick in, or you just like dreading your day. Like I've been there, right? Mm-hmm. Like so many of us. And it's that freedom to get up and be excited about what's coming and what's happening. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That is what a shift it is to not be going to bed on Sunday night going, oh, tomorrow's Monday.
Yeah.
And I have a whole week of dealing with it, to, oh, tomorrow's Monday.
Yeah.
I get to get back at it.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is it's kind of a similar question. I don't know if it's a little redundant, but what does true freedom feel like to you, not just in your business, but in your entire life?
Truth, freedom?
True freedom. and independent.
True freedom. True. I heard that is true freedom. I was like, ooh, I like that.
Oh, what did you hear? What did you say?
Truth with the TH on it.
Oh, truth.
Yeah. So I heard that. My mind immediately went to that authenticity. You know, we talk a lot about authenticity, but I think people can tell when they're just reading a script or they're doing a chat GPT or whatever, and the difference between that and when they actually are communicating from the heart.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether it's business or personal or anything else. But truth freedom for me is not backing down from those hard conversations, because you don't know what the ripple effect is when you might say something really. I did that one time with a friend of mine. She was just really struggling. She is a teacher too. I was teaching at that time. And I said, well, the reason that you're struggling is because you're a vibrant, sovereign being that has lived millions of lifetimes, and you're sitting in this little hole trying to make it work, and it's not working for you. She starts crying, and she shifted after that. It was amazing to watch her change. So I think that there's a freedom that starts here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's why she was crying, is because she knew intuitively, like that was part of her soul.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. It felt true.
Yeah. What about you, Sandra?
Well, absolutely. And to flip that a little bit, because, in terms of, what it is, I think we've all had that amazing feeling when it happens. And in terms of what it isn't, and I think we see all of us, pockets of that all the time, people who are in jobs that aren't giving them the freedom, people who have health conditions that that give constraints on what they do. So I think there's so many factors that, take away and make it difficult to have freedom and true freedom, and truth freedom for Christy, who also likes that one. for sure. And it's, it's interesting, when you look at corporations, it really, if somebody is self-employed versus not self-employed, what is the culture of the organization? How does that influence somebody's experience? And there are people who have gone decades who just are miserable in their jobs. And there are people who suffer physically, emotionally, mentally for decades as well. So it's wonderful if people can just have the space and figure out how they can make a change for themselves and turn that around, because I think that's a difficult part. A lot of people just get entrenched in what they're doing, or, have a condition and just feel that there's no way out. And so it just, it's amazing if people do have a path, or can find a path, or can create a path that helps get them that freedom that maybe has been missing for a very long time for them.
Yeah, because what does that being out of alignment do over the long term, right? When you do it for decades, right? Being in a situation, a job, relationship that just isn't in alignment with you and who you truly are. Yeah, I 100% agree. And I think for me right now, it's about being able to follow my energy. And it's not just now. This has been a thing for me for my whole career, is like that need to be able to follow my energy, and not to be so rigid with the to-do list, and really, and like not always pushing myself, but to know that, okay, I'm in this flow and things are, I can go with the flow right now. I go into that flow and get the things done. But then there's that other part where sometimes I just need to go and rest and relax and allow my energy just to heal, and trusting that it'll be okay. Everything's going to be okay, even if I slow down a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that is so essential to your health and well-being on every level, that rest period and honoring yourself. That's a freedom.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Like yeah, you think about how many people go into work every day and they're just exhausted, feeling horrible. Yeah, just burnt out, feeling terrible. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's move on to my next question. Where are we here? So, was there a moment when you realized you were building someone else's version of your success? So you don't have the freedom to do your own. And I guess we kind of were talking about this as well. But and then you chose instead to create your own definition of freedom. Whoever wants to go first.
Okay. So I was in a really bad marriage and really struggling. And I was learning how to write books. I was writing children's books because I was a teacher and I was learning this stuff. And he gave me an ultimatum. He said, I'll give you a year and you can quit teaching for a year and if you don't make, like $1 million from your books, then you have to quit writing. And I'm sitting there thinking, everything in me rebelled. I'm like, first of all, who are you to tell me how I have to, or how fast I have to, or whatever? And just everything in me rebelled, and I divorced him and kept going instead. I got to tell you, after I filed the divorce papers, I was so euphoric. I was like dancing on clouds for a year because he was gone. People thought I was high, and I don't do drugs or anything. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel that. I really feel that, Christy, like that pressure, right? Like that, like pushing down, right? Like talk about dimming your light. Like, right? We talk about how we dim our light for other people, but talk about, like not just even dimming your light, but being just like literally pushed down, your energy pushed down. Oh my gosh. Thanks.
That was my break for freedom.
Yes. And independence. No kidding. No kidding. All right. Do you have a share, Sandra?
Sure. I think, from the perspective, I was fairly fortunate in that my parents were very encouraging in terms of my education. There were no pressures into being, you must do this or that, and in fact, I think they often would tell me to lighten up, that, go out with your friends tonight. You really don't need to be studying. And I really chose, I chose things that I liked, and it's positions as well. But you're right. There comes a point. It's like, when do you wake up? What's that aha moment to change a job, to move on, to do something different, or in terms of Christy, in terms of relationships as well. And so, if I reflect back, perhaps I did stay longer in situations, whatever those were, whether career wise, personal wise, did stay longer than would have been optimal, if one wants to use that word, optimal in terms of my freedom, optimal in terms of my path. So it's really intriguing to look back and sort of see, which ones was I really on top, riding the wave and on top of the curve and making those decisions at the right time, and how many of those were decisions that might have been made earlier, and to reflect back on, why didn't I make them earlier? What were the circumstances? Because then that really leads to a lot of personal growth as well. If you didn't make a decision, if that decision should have been made, but you didn't make it, in retrospect, what were the factors? And so it really leads to some really great learnings and growth as well, to figure out, why was I on top of the curve here? Why was I behind the curve? And just sort of see how that plays out. And it's kind of a fun thing to do, but it's also enlightening as well, right? To figure things out.
Yeah, and I don't really feel like we're ever off our path, right? Like you said, there's so much growth in staying the extra length of time or moving on. Like there's growth.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, like it is supposed to be it ends up being the way it's supposed to be. But at the time you go, why didn't I do that sooner? But then you grew so much by staying that extra year or 2 years or whatever. Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are no accidents.
Yeah.
Exactly. And for me, what I realized is that when I make a decision that is intuitive, like I get an intuitive hit. So an example was when I sold my yoga studio. I got the intuitive hit to sell my studio. And then people were saying to me, what are you doing? Like, you love this. You love teaching yoga. You love, seeing clients and doing workshops and, why are you doing this? And then when I do it, when I follow that intuitive guidance, and it's not easy. Like, that's the thing, is that when we get these messages, right, to leave your husband, to change jobs, whatever it is, sell your yoga studio that you've had for 17 years, that it isn't easy. They're not easy decisions, and you second guess yourself a lot. But then once you do it, what I realized is that when I did it, it opened up more time and space for me to do so much more. And that's when I really stepped more into my purpose. But what I've realized is that when people don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing, that means that's a signal to me that, oh, I'm following my intuitive guidance. That, oh, I'm actually following my guidance. So I just need to keep going.
I love that.
Okay, so I believe it's time for our first break of the show. So when we come back, Sandra is going to ask us a bunch of powerful questions, and we're going to keep this conversation going about freedom and independence. We will be right back.
A life empowered is closer than you think. We're all looking for a better way. Reimagine what's next with a new sense of exuberance. Why not power on like you mean it? Or power off blissfully? A better sleep is a better awake. You've never moved like this before. With the energy nature intended. Imagine reprogramming the way you look at the speed of science, at longevity, exhilaration. It's next level rejuvenation. Take control of your well-being from the inside out and outside in. The light within is ready to ignite. Be the light. LifeWave.
Are you ready to finally unlock your biggest dreams and live the life you've always wanted? I'm Candice McKim, and I invite you to join me in the manifestation magic process. Whether you're dreaming of that perfect business, financial freedom, or more joy in your life, it's all possible. With manifestation magic, you'll shatter common misconceptions that keep holding you back, learn the secrets of attracting your deepest desires, and activate the magic of sacred synchronicity. Head to CandiceMcKim.com and start creating the life of your dreams today.
Hey everyone, welcome back. And we're having an exciting conversation. Candice, I'd like to just pick up with you for a moment, because in our last segment, you talked about how you're able to make space when you realize that you need to sort of check out for a little bit and even go rest. How did you come to that point? Was that something that you always knew that you needed to do? Was there something that led to that?
Yeah, when I was 12 years old, my mom and dad were entrepreneurs, and they were self-employed and had 3 teenagers, and my mom was very stressed out. So she went to the doctor to figure out how to deal with the stress, and the doctor prescribed Valium to her, medication. And she's like, yeah, I can't do this. And so she couldn't take the medication. So she took our entire family to learn to meditate. And so I was 12 years old, and every Thursday night, our family went to this woman's house and learned to meditate. And so I adopted it into my life at that age, that I would go to school, and after school, I'd come home after school, and I would sit on my bed and meditate. And then I did it when I went to university. And then when I had my own children, I would meditate before I would pick them up from school. So I would get that. And when I had a yoga studio, I would meditate in the morning and in the afternoon. And so that time of day when you go to caffeine or chocolate, that's when it's a really good time to meditate. And that's what I've always done, is brought that into my life.
No, I love that. Absolutely. And Christy, do you have your way of sort of coping with things, like when you see that things are getting a little bit out of hand, going a little bit too quickly? Do you have mechanisms for that?
Yes, I go beat up the tree. No, I'm kidding. Actually, my go-to is swimming. I've been a swimmer forever, but as a little kid, I loved swimming, and it was a way for me to escape because I could be in the pool all the time. And then as I grew up, I swam on swim teams and et cetera, et cetera. But now in my life, going swimming for me is meditation time, because I could be in the water. Nobody can talk to me. The phone can't ring. Nothing can distract me. I can just zone out and swim. And my whole body relaxes. My mind goes to places. Things click in. I absolutely love, and I've always been a fish. So for me, it's just natural. It's a natural thing to do. If it's totally freezing cold with snow on the ground, then maybe an indoor pool will have to do.
I think indoor pool sounds perfect. Living in Canada, I'm with you on the snow thing.
Totally also Canadian.
I think for me, I get in a similar zone when I walk our dog Nigel. It's just it's very relaxing, and I think I take him for longer walks than he even wants to go, because it's just the nature, the trees, everything's green, beautiful, and it's just so nice to be out. And Christy, you focus on children. You've spent a lot of your life doing educating, teaching children. And I know you deal with younger children. So what is the playoff in terms of providing structure for them, but also fostering their freedom and independence? Because they really seem at odds with each other. You're trying to provide this structure, but you're trying to create these free thinking children. So how does that play out for you?
Well, the key is that we have to let go of everything school is and what we've been taught to believe it is and what we experienced as kids. It's all wrong.
Sounds good.
The first thing is yes, you create structure in the sense that you have a space. So for example, tables, chairs for them. But like when I'm working with the kids, if they need to stand up, I let them. And I set boundaries, like you can't hit your friend sitting next to you because, they said something you don't like, but you can move away from them. So I just set little boundaries like that. And then the other thing is especially with really young kids like 5 and 6, they have to be short. So my lesson will be 15 minutes, and then we play a game that's connected to the lesson where they're making their own connections between to what they're learning. And then there's play and there's movement, which is the natural way that everybody learns, but especially children. It actually is a neurological thing. And then giving them space to make those connections and play with each other. What's really funny is that they'll go outside to play. They'll come back in and they'll be like, they used to call me Miss J, but now I have them call me Miss Chris. Miss Chris, guess what? And they tell me what they figured out. And some of the things they come up with are just phenomenal. And then you take that and you run with it. And the kids get really excited because they know you've heard them, and that growth happens organically. So structure doesn't have to be sit down in that chair, do your work. That just has to all go away because it just makes people crazy.
Well, and have you seen children struggle with that? Have you okay.
The behavior, probably, I don't know the exact percentages, but I'm guessing just based on my experience that at least 80% of the behaviors in the classroom are because they're forced into this rigid model that it doesn't work. And then on top of that, they take away the tools they actually need. They move them too fast rush them through things. You got to get all this done. It's all pressure and stress. And the kids who are going to read, they're going to be okay. But there's most of that bell curve, they're going to struggle on some level. And so you have to take that pressure away and relax. They're little. Allow them to learn, encourage them, support them in it, and don't trick them. Oh, I just did a thing on tricking kids in education. Don't trick them. That is not teaching.
That's a pretty good learning. Yeah. I can see you feel strongly about that.
It's not fair.
Well, Candace, for you deal with manifesting, and that is so, I mean, that's such a fun topic. It's an essential topic, though, because it really does lead people to co-create what they want to live. And how does freedom, does somebody need a sense of personal freedom? Like what is the technique for really manifesting, and what do constraints do? If somebody doesn't have freedom, does that impact their ability to truly manifest?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, like the first thing a lot of people need to do to manifest is to get clear. What do I want? And especially women, we tend to not really know what we want. We know what we don't want. We're pretty good at knowing what we don't want, but we don't always know what we really do want, because so many of us have put our dreams on the back burner, right? Mm-hmm. We're supporting children, we're supporting partners, we're supporting other people, but even our employers, whatever we're doing, right? But we're not really putting energy into our own dreams. So having the freedom to start to visualize, to dream, is huge. One of the processes I use is imagine 6 impossible things before breakfast. And you don't have to do them before breakfast. Some people get confused. It comes out of Alice in Wonderland. I'm sure Christy knows this one, right? From Alice in Wonderland. But and so a lot of people think they have to do it before breakfast. But no, before you have breakfast, you write down 6 things that you think are impossible to manifest in your life. And what it does is, because so many of us are playing small, or we are putting restraints on it because we're trying to figure out how we're going to get it. How are we going to do it? And and that's where the impossibility comes into it. We think it's impossible because of our situation that we're in right now. But when we really start to open up, it allows the imagination to go, and allows us to start to dream bigger and to think bigger. Because I believe our intuition is our soul speaking to us, and our intuition, our soul wants us to be bigger. Our soul, because most of the women I deal with, they know they're here for more. Everybody I've ever talked to and taught workshops and trainings, they all go, I know I'm here for something more. And so it's like, okay, let's dream into that, and let's put it out there.
Absolutely. And then Candace, what happens when you see somebody that has blocks, right? Because it's one thing to be able to write down those 6 things and be excited about them. But what if somebody comes to you and it's like, oh, maybe I'll give you one thing, or I don't know, this seems like too difficult an exercise, and maybe I don't even deserve these things. Like, what?
Oh, yeah, no, we just want to play with it. It's just all about playing. Let's just put it out there, right? Like, like everybody used to always put on their vision boards to be on Oprah's couch, right? So let's still put that out there. Let's be on Oprah's couch. Let's allow ourselves to go big. And yeah, people do have a lot, and then they're like, so do I change it every day? I can't come up with things every day. And I'm like, just have fun with it. If you have a couple of the same things every day, that's okay. But if new things, new ideas are coming to you, then just put it down, write it down. And it is really, really impactful when people do it. It's huge. Yeah.
Well, and Christy, have you ever made lists like that way? Have you, in terms of where you want to go, where you want to be, is it just something intuitive for you that you know exactly where you're going? Or do you make your own, vision boards or, lists of what you want for you?
Yes and no.
Perfect answer.
I'm currently currently in a state of enormous transformation because I still very much want to do this with kids. I want to provide a platform for parents and teachers and students to all work together to create an educational. I want to break the education matrix and start right from the beginning, give them all, but I also want, I'm at a phase of my life where I want to travel extensively. And I've allowed myself to be so tied down to it. Like you just said, Candace, everybody supporting everybody else, taking care of everybody else, making sure everybody else is doing what they need to do. And I'm like, when do I get my turn? So I'm kind of at that phase, but so I do that where I'm trying to figure it out, but I'm going to do what Candace just said. I'm going to put the impossible things on the list and go, let's see what happens.
Let's just put it out there.
Yeah. Because I really love that idea.
That's really exciting. And Christy, when you deal with your students, right? Because they're various ages from pretty young to a little bit older. Do you see differences that you would categorize that some ages seem to exhibit greater degrees of freedom? Do you see it changing? Like, is it an age-based thing, or how would you describe that?
Well, that's a tough question because, of course, there are developmental levels. You can't teach a 5-year-old the way you would teach a 10-year-old or a middle schooler. It's just not going to work. But my experience has been that when you start them young and you give them a platform where they're just growing in their skill and their confidence at their own pace, then by the time, so I teach kids in my program, they start reading the first week of school. I do not waste their kindergarten year coloring worksheets. That's stupid and pointless and boring. And so by the end of first grade, even if they're dyslexic or ADHD or something, they can read not Harry Potter, but they can read an appropriate chapter book or something like that, and write a little story or something. It might be 5 sentences, but that's okay. That's age appropriate. So what happens is, as they grow older in that kind of an environment, they make these quantum leaps where they'll all of a sudden, it's like, my dad bought me a telescope. Did you know you can see Saturn? And that leads into something huge and enormous in terms of them learning, and it's organic. So then they start to realize they can learn whatever they want. And let's find out do you know about Saturn, Miss Chris? No, I don't know a lot about Saturn. Let's find out. The modeling of, I don't know everything. Let's find out. That's what we do. And so then they feel there's always this sense, they grow up with a sense of, oh, if I don't know, it's no big deal. I'll find out. Or I'll write it on a list and I'll figure out a way to make it happen. And they're just more connected. They're more connected to me. They're more connected to each other. They're more connected to their parents. They're more connected to their own souls because they're just beautiful little souls that are growing, and there's no need for behavior. I mean, they're children. So, I mean, he took my sandwich happens, but, but it's really easy to work it out.
I think you would be such a fun teacher, Christy. I really do, because you give such space and such a platform for exploration and inquiry. And I think those are really important components to learning. So I think you'd be a hoot.
Thank you. I try.
And Candace, can you think of any myths that exist in terms of manifesting, things that people think that just aren't right and that are holding them back? Can you think of anything that way?
Yeah, I think people think they're doing it wrong. I think a lot of people think they're manifesting incorrectly, and it's not true. You're always manifesting. Whatever you're living right now, you've manifested it. Like, however your life looks, the job you have, the partner you have, the children you have, the house you have, all of that, you've manifested. So a lot of people believe that they have to have a 5-year plan, that they have to have a vision board, and they're not visualizing correctly. A lot of times people will come to me and say that I don't think I'm visualizing correctly. And so then I'll take them through this little exercise, and I'll say, okay, well, I want you to start to visualize your dream kitchen. And I'll get them to close their eyes and say, okay, start to visualize what your dream kitchen is going to look like in your dream house. And they, okay. And I said, but make sure you don't visualize your kitchen right now. Like, I don't want you to visualize the cupboards. I don't want you to visualize the countertop. I don't want you to visualize the fridge. I don't want you to even visualize the contents that you have in the fridge. I don't want you to visualize the stove. I really don't want you to visualize the paint color of your kitchen. And then I'm like, so what are you visualizing? They're visualizing their kitchen that they have right now. And so I'm like, so you know how to visualize. You're just not really clear on exactly what it looks like. And so this is another nuance that I think is important, is that there's a difference between visualizing and visualizing exactly what you have, and then knowing that you're here for something more. So it's like, okay, I know I'm here for something more, but I don't know what it looks like. And then there's visualizing, where I can see the car, I can see the house, I can see the partner, that part of it, right? The household and the relationship, where then the opposite is visual, in like just knowing that you're here for something more.
Well, I can let you know I have visualized my kitchen. So there you go. So we're going to head into a short break, and Christy is going to be taking everything from here. So thanks, everyone.
Why do 98% of beauty enthusiasts rave about coolness? It's all in the blend of ancient wisdom and modern science. Introducing Coolness Pearlescent Face and Eye Serum Cream. This powerhouse combines the antioxidative power of schisandra berries, the glow of pearl powder, and the hydrating wonders of dragon's blood extract. It's like a time machine for your skin, making it radiant, firm, and oh so smooth. Inspired by ancient Chinese traditions and backed by modern nutritional science, this serum cream is perfect for dry, mature, and aging skin. Say goodbye to dullness and hello to youthful radiance. And guess what? For a limited time, you get a free cooling eye cream applicator with your purchase. It's time to unlock your inner glow with coolness. So what are you waiting for? Treat your skin to the best of both worlds today.
Welcome to a reimagined world where kids can't wait to go to school, beg for books to read. Math is an exciting game, and teachers get to love teaching again. Meet Christy Boyd Johnson. She's been in the trenches and emerged with the keys to making education a fun, free, and inspiring experience. Email her at barefootlearningclub@gmail.com and chat with her one-on-one. Her philosophy? Foundation plus imagination equals genius.
Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Chronic Health Collective. I'm here today with the lovely Candace McKim, who is an intuitive manifestation coach, and the delightful Sandra, whose last name I still have a challenge with. Help me.
Ozolka.
Ozolka.
That's perfect, Christy. Thanks.
A specialist in Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Oh, wow. That's a mouthful.
Indeed.
Okay, ladies, are you ready? We're going to mix it up a little bit here. We're going to play a game, but to warm you up, I've got a couple questions. Okay. Short answer questions. So first, we'll start with you, Candace. What was your first independent act as a kid, and did it backfire?
Oh, my first independent act as a kid. I do remember taking off. We were living in a new subdivision, and there was houses being built, and it backfired. So I went with my sister, and I don't even know what other kids, and we went over and we explored these houses that we shouldn't have been in. And then I came back early, and I told on my sister, who was older, and that backfired.
How about you, Sandra? Did you ever, what was your first independent act?
Oh, it was bad, Christy. It was bad. So I was about 5 years old, and for whatever reason, I ran away from home. So I packed up my Barbies because, of course, those are essentials if one is going to leave home. And then I remember I was leaving, and my mom said, "Well, do you want a sandwich?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So she packed him a little sandwich, and I took it we had a tree partway near the end of the driveway. So I sat under the tree and I ate my sandwich and played with Barbies. And then I came back to the door and I said, "Hi, I'm back." So I thank my mother for giving me the space. I was happy to come back, and I'm sure she might have been watching me from the window just to make sure I actually didn't have a plane ticket to Mexico or Europe or something. But no, I didn't have a ticket. This wasn't thought out. It was spur of the moment. I was running away. And then I got older and sort of didn't ever leave the house. So I don't know. Maybe they should have really let me go at 5. I don't know. I eventually did leave, yes.
That's funny. Okay. All right. So question number 2. This time we'll start with you, Sandra. Mm-hmm. What was the worst job you ever escaped from?
It was a job where I worked 7 days a week. And so it morphed into that. It was a fairly senior role, and it was a lot of meetings. So I would go to meetings all day long, and then somehow the work had to get done. So then that translated into evening work and weekend work. And so I took off Friday evenings. I decided I at least allow myself to have Friday evenings off. So I did that for 2 years. And then that was the end of.
Oh, wow.
So we talked earlier, Candace, riding the wave or not riding the wave. I can tell you, I was on top of that. I was just figuring out how to leave, and that was that. So yes, great question, Christy.
All right, Candace, to you, what was the worst job you ever escaped from?
I honestly don't think I had a job that I really hated. So I left job, so I was thinking about this, just this brief 2 seconds, but I did leave a job because I was working as a waitress in a bar. It was a cowboy bar, and they were making me work New Year's Eve. And so I did quit before that, which was me. But so I left that. And then when I did move to a different city, and because I had background in social work, that when I lived in that city, they were asking me to come back as a social worker because it was still in the same province, so I could work there, and they were asking me to come and work. And I remember talking to my sister about it. Should I go back into working in the government? And she said, "I just have one word for you." And I said, "What?" She said, "Pantyhose," because at that time we had to wear pantyhose to work.
Oh.
So I never did take the job.
Good decision. A good decision.
Oh, that always kills me on movies, when teachers are wearing little skirts and high heels. I'm like, that doesn't happen. Okay, so pantyhose, that's a good reason not to do it. Okay, so whichever one of you just jump in on this one. Right now, what is one word that sums up freedom for you right now, and why?
Peace. It's just that peace, that contentment in my body, my mind, my soul, and just free. Yeah, it creates freedom.
I like that peace. I love it. Sandra?
Mine would be elation, that basically I'm in a candy store, and it is as fun as that gets.
I love that. Okay, so now we come to the second phase of our game show. We're going to play Would You Rather. See, I'm a teacher. I made cards. Okay. So you guys think of your answer and then just jump in. Would you rather take a solo trip to a foreign country or be dropped into a reality show with all of your extended family?
Solo trip.
And what and why?
Oh, and why?
Yeah.
I just think that would be, I just love adventures and traveling. And I've traveled alone quite a bit in my life. And I just know the soul's growth that happens when you travel alone. And I would love that.
Yeah.
And I'm going for number one, but I am bringing my husband along because he just makes everything. He makes the 11 out of 10. He just makes everything that much better. So he have to come.
Okay, well, I'll bring my husband too. I'd like to bring mine too.
Oh,
that was a choice.
I like that. That's so nice. Yeah, I'm like my extended family. I don't think so. Okay. Okay. Would you rather be stuck with a Fitbit that never stops judging you, or sorry, this one made me laugh, or a wellness coach who won't stop texting you?
You go first, then.
I'll take the coach, because assuming that coach has my best interests at heart, why not?
I'm going to say the Fitbit, because I like to work out a lot, and so let's just do it.
I can just hear a judgmental Fitbit. You call that yoga? Where's the stretch? Or, one of the things that made me laugh is I thought of Andy with the wellness coach who won't stop texting you. I thought, oh, Andy, I wonder.
I'd be fine with Andy texting me. That would work.
Okay. Would you rather spend 1 week in total silence with yourself, or 1 week being totally honest with everyone in your life?
Well, I would do the silent retreat, because they're amazing. Because I think I'm pretty honest already. I feel like I'm already doing that. Like I would have to really explore that if I wasn't being honest with everybody in my life that I spent a whole week with. But I would love to do another silent retreat for a week. That'd be amazing.
And
yeah.
I think I'm going to piggyback on that as well, Candace. Like I do believe that in my relationships, they are what they are. I express what I need to express, and I have been on a silent retreat with my husband. So go figure out how that works. But and it was amazing. Loved every moment of it. Loved it.
Yeah.
And we did cheat a little. We did cheat a little. We did talk a little bit after, in between, or at the end of the day. But we took it to heart. We took it to heart because there was, there's a reason people go to these things, that they have, huge benefits. So, but it was so much fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I have a hard time coming back to talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Okay. All right. I think you guys will like this one. Would you rather heal your biggest emotional wound, or finally figure out which supplements actually work?
Oh. I would like to learn about the supplements. I do take a lot, it seems like.
And I'm going with the emotional healing part. I'm going to go with that, because I think they're, when things come up, they're coming up for a reason. And I just think that there's so much phenomenal growth to address things. So I'm going to go with that.
Both valid. That's the fun of the game, is what are we thinking about? Okay. The lightning round. Are you ready? It's a quick answer.
Is this double points? Are we getting double
Oh
points?
yeah,
I want
of
double
course. Triple
points.
point, triple point.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so this is quick answer. Just say the word that you, okay? Talk or text?
Text.
Text.
Rebel or rule follower?
Rule follower.
Me too.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Oh, beach or mountain?
Sorry.
Both. Beach.
Beach or mountain?
Got to do both. Yeah.
Both.
What the heck?
I live in the mountains, so I'm going to say beach.
Travel or staycation?
Travel.
I'll go with the travel, although staycations are amazing too.
Speak truth or stay comfy?
Truth.
Truth. Yeah.
A no button or an invisibility cloak?
Invisibility cloak.
It was a no button?
Like a no button, like no.
Oh, okay. I'll do the invisibility. That sounds very mysterious and fun. So let's do that one.
I have a chair in my house, and it's always in the corner of our kitchen, like our dining room area. And whenever I sit in there, nobody can find me. Like, I don't know why. People walk by me calling my name, Mom, and like, and I'm like, I'm right here. I'm in my invisible chair.
Oh, ladies, you know what? I'm having so much fun with you, but I think it's time that we have to wrap it up because we're going to run out of time here. But let's see. Thank you both. This was really, really amazing. I've just so enjoyed talking with you guys today.
This was wonderful. Thank you.
Really fun.
So if today's episode spoke to you, don't go it alone. Book your free consult with one of our expert coaches at chronichealthcollective.com for personalized support. Or you can subscribe to our monthly magazine for expert tips from all 14 coaches to elevate your health, mindset, and relationships. Catch us live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, or watch past episodes anytime on E360 TV or at YouTube at the Chronic Health Chronic Health Collective. Thank you for tuning in. Your transformation starts now. See you next week.